As an entrepreneur who is not just concerned about your daily bread, about survival, one of your aspirations would be to grow your business to where your business can begin to contribute very, very meaningfully to employment and to the economy of your country. In this video, I want to discuss with you some guidelines that you can follow to create roles and departments. In the initial stage of your growth, your first 5 years, your first 3 years, you may not be able to have any department. But as your business encroaches into its 6th year, its 7th year, its 10th year, you realize that you are now having close to 20, 30 staffs. Only you cannot manage those staffs. That is why you need to departmentalize your workforce or your manpower. And in this video, I want to show you how you can create roles and how you can departmentalize the roles that you will create. The first guideline is that every role you want to create must solve a practical business problem. It must solve a problem that the business is facing. This is very, very important. Don't go and create a role just because you saw that your competitor have that position or have that role. Don't create a role just because it sounds professional. Create a role because the business needs that particular role. Number 2 is you want to define the responsibilities of the role. After you have defined the role, you want to define also the specific responsibilities of the role before you recruit somebody into that role. Don't just say, I need a marketing officer. What exactly is that marketing officer coming to do for you? You need to be able to sit down and itemize it. This is what we call what? Job description. So you need to define your job description. And your job description should include duties, deliverables. By deliverables, I mean what are the things that the person will be expected to show at the end of the day from the duties, because duties are not just duties in vacuum. What are the deliverables? Then number 3 is reporting lines. Who is the person going to report to? And then number 4 is performance expectations. How do you know that this person is working? What are the metrics that you are going to use to measure the performance or not of the person who is going to fill that particular role? Next is you want your department to emerge organically, not by construction. You don't want to construct your department. What does this mean? Don't just go and sit down and say, okay, I have 10 staff now. Let me create 3 departments. No. What you need to do, first of all, distribute 10 staff or your 15 staff along the similarities of their responsibilities, because departments are made up of officers and roles that are related. That is why they will have one supervisor and they will have one head of department, right? So you want it to emerge organically and not by construction. So if you have 15 staffs, you will then realize that these 15 staffs, you are having problem managing them all by yourself. So you want to group those 15 staff into 3 or 5, 5, 5. What this means is that each of these 5 can now constitute a department. Don't go and copy a departmental structure from your competitor. Work with what is obtainable within your business. This implies that By the time you're able to distribute this your 15 staff into three and you group them into similar tasks, you can now give your department names that are unique to them. You go to some companies, they have marketing department, then they have sales department. That is because of the size of the company. If you know you don't have that size to maintain those two structures, you may need just one department called marketing and sales. Then as the company grows over time, you may now want to separate marketing from sales. Don't construct your department. Allow your department to grow and emerge organically. If you allow your department to grow and emerge organically, it becomes even easier for you to identify your supervisor. For example, among your 5 staff, who of them are you going to appoint as the head of the department or as the supervisor? If you give it time, if you give yourself time and you are patient, the leader, the person who should emerge, is going to emerge organically. You can tell, and everybody can tell, and everybody will be willing to listen to the person. But if you want to construct it by yourself, it will cost you money, and at the end of the day, it will not achieve the purpose for which you are putting it together. The fourth point I would like to mention is avoiding overlapping responsibilities. Ensure that you always review, because as your business grows, there is possibility that you are going to outgrow some of your clients. Your services may become more expensive, and certain clients will no longer be able to afford them, so they will drop. Or maybe it's a matter of distance. You relocate, so you're no longer closer to those clients, or you change your product offerings. Now, in the midst of all these changes, what you may not be realizing is that some staffs are becoming redundant, and that the task that they were doing is no longer required because the clients that require those tasks or those activities are no longer within your organization again. So what do you need to do? You need to repurpose those staffs so that you don't end up duplicating your staff, and you now realize at the end of the day, one staff has so much to do while the other staff has barely anything to do. So you want to avoid overlapping by ensuring that more people are not assigned to do the same thing, because that alone can cause confusion. Then my last point is still going to go back to the creation of department. Your department should be created around workflow. What does it mean? Like I've exemplified earlier, that the best way to create department is to look at the number of staff you have and divide and look at the responsibilities of those staff and then group them. What you are doing there is what? Structuring your department around the workflow. So you don't just create department because it is the industry standard. You don't just create the department because that is what everybody is doing. You create department because that is what your workflow entails. And what are some of these departments that will tally within a particular workflow? Marketing, sales, operations, finance, and then customer service. Final thought: always ensure to carry out constant and consistent review of your manpower. You need to look at the staffs you have. What exactly are they doing for you? Are they overlapping? Is there a role that is no longer needed? And is there a role that you need to add? Business is something that is living and breathing. And so at every point in time, it is necessary for you to check the pulse. And how you check the pulse is by reviewing your employees, reviewing your operations, reviewing your clientele, reviewing everything that surrounds that business. On a monthly basis, you should be able to sit down and look at your overall performance report and see how the business is faring. who is doing what and who is not doing what, and what is being delayed and why it is being delayed. Thank you very much for watching this video. Drop your thoughts in the comment section, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel.